The bus station was already loud with footsteps and engines when something far quieter broke apart a grown woman's strength. In the bright wash of a late morning sun, a Navy soldier stood frozen near the platform bench, her shoulders stiff beneath a neatly pressed uniform, her eyes shining with a grief she could no longer hide. She had faced storms at sea and long nights of duty, but here, in the open daylight among strangers, her resolve finally cracked as tears slid down her face, unnoticed by most, until a small moment of kindness changed everything. If you believe stories like this remind us that kindness still exists and that second chances matter, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Life Spark Stories. Your support helps these real, emotional stories reach more hearts. Petty Officer Mara Ellison had returned stateside only hours earlier, her duffel bag still heavy with the smell of salt and metal. She was waiting for a bus that would take her to a town she barely remembered anymore, where unfinished business waited like an old wound. Her mother's sudden passing had pulled her back from duty, and the weight of regret pressed harder with every passing minute. The bus station felt too open, too exposed, the daylight revealing emotions she had trained herself to lock away. She tried to steady her breathing, staring at the schedule board, but grief does not obey discipline. That was when a child noticed her. Hazel Rowan was 7 years old, small for her age, with a sunbright face and hair tied into uneven braids. She sat on the bench beside her father, swinging her legs, holding a paper bag with a bakery logo printed in blue. Hazel had an unusual gift for sensing sadness, the kind that comes from growing up with loss early. Her mother had passed away years before, and though her father never spoke much about it, Hazel recognized that hollow look immediately. She saw it now in the soldier's eyes. Hazel slipped off the bench and walked closer, her sneakers tapping softly on the concrete. She did not understand ranks or uniforms, only that this woman looked like she needed something solid to lean on. Without fear or hesitation, Hazel reached for her father's hand and gently pulled him forward, as if offering him like a blanket against the cold. The meaning was clear even without words. Here was someone safe, someone steady, someone who knew how to hold the broken pieces together. Hazel's father, Thomas Rowan, was a quiet man with a weathered face and kind eyes shaped by years of responsibility. A widowed school bus mechanic, he carried patience like a second skin. When he realized what his daughter was doing, he froze for a moment, embarrassed and unsure, then saw the soldier's trembling hands and red eyes. He understood then that this was bigger than manners or awkwardness. This was about being human. Mara felt it before she fully saw it, the presence of calm, the warmth of simple concern. She looked down to see a child offering her the most precious thing she had, trust. In that instant, something inside Mara loosened. She crouched slightly, her posture softening, and for the first time since receiving the terrible phone call, she allowed herself to breathe fully. Thomas stood close, not touching, but present in a way that reminded her of her own father, gone many years now, whose steady silence had once meant safety. They sat together on the bench as the day moved on around them. No questions were asked, no explanations demanded. Hazel shared her bakery bag, breaking a soft roll in half and handing it over with a smile that carried no pity, only generosity. Mara wiped her face, the sunlight drying the last of her tears. In that small pocket of time, she felt seen not as a soldier, not as a strong woman expected to endure, but as a daughter who missed her mother and a person who needed a moment to be held by the world. When the bus finally arrived, Mara stood taller. The grief was still there, but it no longer felt like it would crush her. She saluted out of habit, then stopped herself, smiling instead. Hazel waved enthusiastically, Thomas nodding with quiet reassurance. As the bus pulled away under the clear daytime sky, Mara realized that strength sometimes comes from the smallest hands, and healing can begin in the most ordinary places. If this story touched your heart, reminded you of someone you've lost, or made you believe a little more in human kindness, please take a moment now to engage with this video. Your support truly means everything to us. Special request: Please comment below and share what part of this story moved you the most.